Dear Oliver, thank you very much for being so kind, for being here and sharing with us the latest trends in biophilic design and sustainability principles in architecture. Can you please explain a little bit this concept?
So biophilic design is all about how we improve the human connection to nature in buildings and the built environment. So when you have that strong connection to nature, it allows your heart rate to reduce, your blood pressure to go down. It makes you feel calm, relaxed and comfortable. And we all know this. When we go on holiday, we tend to go to the beach, we go to the mountains or we go to forests, and we get that wonderful sense of calm. So biophilic design is really about how we bring that sense of calm and relaxation into different building types that we live and work in. So it's about how we improve that connection in schools, in hospitals, in workplaces and in our homes.
The eco-bio trends becomes more and more valuable nowadays. It is already a lifestyle for lots of people. Food, cosmetics, clothes, cleaning products, construction materials have developed a great industry for consuming eco-friendly products. How does this trend affect also our everyday living? Why should we pay attention on the objects and materials we're surrounded of?
Trying to convince people to be more sustainable and eco-friendly has been a lifelong passion for me, and I'm really interested in these things that make people excited about being sustainable. I think for a lot of people, when they think about eco-friendly measures, it's about reducing their impact and the impact that has on climate change. And for some people, that's a difficult concept to get hold of, the fact that their home uses electricity and gas, and that might have an impact on global warming. So what I try and do is then make it very clear to people that actually health and well-being is a route to being more sustainable. Now, when your home is healthier, it needs to be warmer, it needs to be more efficient, and needs to have less mold, less damp, less drafts. So taking a human-centered approach and looking at health and well-being, I think, is an essential component of sustainability. Not just thinking about carbon-centric sustainability, how much gas and electricity and embedded carbon there is in everything you do. It's also about health and well-being. And in that way, improving that human connection to nature has demonstrable human benefits. So this human-centered aspect of sustainability is an area that's only just starting to be investigated. That idea that we need to create efficient buildings, but those buildings also need to be spaces that we love to be in. Spaces that make us feel good, that reduces stress, that allows us to do what we're supposed to be doing. Schools where teachers can teach children better. Hospitals where doctors can allow patients to get better faster. This all makes total sense, and it's an essential strand of sustainability.
Green designs means comfort and sustainability. Can you give us some simple tips about the things each one can do to get closer to the nature and thus adding value to the living and working spaces?
Yeah, there are three essential components to biophilic design. The first is improving the direct connection to nature. So it's our connection to plants, to natural light, to areas of water, and how we interact with it. And there are lots of simple things we can do. We can make sure that we can have views outwards onto plants and onto greenery. We can include plants into our spaces. We can make sure that people have natural light in their spaces as well. So putting desks and chairs nearer to windows are great ways of doing that. The second way is the indirect connection to nature. So, where we don't have the opportunity to connect to real forms of nature, it's about how we use natural materials, textures, colours, patterns and forms in an artificial way. So it might be as simple as painting areas green or using images that reflect natural environments, using natural materials or textures, or using patterns and textures that are inspired by nature. Interfaces carpet tiles use a biomimetic approach to their design. So they quite literally mimic those natural textures and materials so we can inspire biophilic design thinking from the ground up. And lastly, it's about our human spatial response, recognizing that as designers, we can create spaces that energize and stimulate us, but also make us feel calm and relaxed and recuperated. And we need to recognize that every space needs to be both energizing and calming and relaxing. And we need to incorporate that into the design.
What are your favorite elements you use in your projects?
So my favourite elements of biophilic design in projects are, well, of course, putting green walls into spaces if possible. But sometimes these are expensive, they're difficult to do, there's lots of maintenance costs. So I like to find other ways of doing that. Very simply, you can use timber on wall panels. You can incorporate greenery into colour schemes. You can use natural materials or materials that are inspired by nature, like Interface's human nature carpet tiles. Lots of very subtle ways that you can create a sense of being in nature, even in the densest, most urban locations. And for me as a designer, that's the really interesting thing. How do you deal with those urban conditions where you don't have any direct connection to nature, and use all our skills and our experience to create spaces that make people feel comfortable, relaxed, and create better spaces to be in?
And this is a big challenge.
It's a challenge. Partly the challenge is getting people to recognise that design doesn't need to be about impressing other people. Often designers think, well, I need to create a strong sense of the brand. I need to show how powerful this brand is, how much money they've got. I like to take a different approach. I like to show that actually we can use all our skills and our ingenuity and our experience to create spaces that make people feel better. It's what I call a more intrinsic approach, and it's all about making spaces that people love to be in. And for me, that's a really exciting thing.
And the last question, how do you feel about this trend in Romania? What do you think? Is people interested in upgrading the quality of life by investing in green architecture?
Sustainability is an area that is growing all over the world. And I can see it growing and developing in Romania. Even in the few months since I was last here, I was here 10 months ago, I can see that there's been a greater interest in sustainability. I know that the Romanian Green Building Council is growing in popularity. I know that there are new building regulations coming into force, which means that sustainability will have to be incorporated into buildings. So that's a more carbon-centred aspect of sustainability. But interestingly, the interest in the biophilic design workshop that we're doing today and Interface's biomimetic approach to design is clearly of great interest to architects and the architectural and design community, and also building owners and building occupants alike. Because it's not just about reducing carbon, it's also about the human-centred benefits that we can deliver when we take a human-centred approach to sustainability. So clearly there's a lot of interest in how we can do that both in a direct way and an indirect way by using natural materials, colours, textures and patterns, and what happens and the true benefits that we can deliver to building occupants when that happens.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.